Let's proceed to make an advancement in HTML. Hopefully you now understand the basics of what HTML is all about. And now that you've completed the Hello World task, you have achieved laying the first code block in your HTML foundation. Congratulations is in order. Now let's proceed to develop web content using HTML elements and tags. But on a side note, I want you to have this at the back of your mind. Today we're going to be building, rather today you are going to be building an informational web page using some of the common HTML elements we'll be discussing in today's coding lesson. Your core task after today's class would be to create a web page with content that communicates a brief narrative of what transpired in Nigeria on October 20, 2020. I believe you all know the story, right?
A long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Good. So your web page should be able to give a narrative, so headings, subheadings, and a couple of paragraphs, just briefly narrating what played out on that day. The NSARS thing and how it all went down. Correct. So that's what your task for today is going to be after the class. All right. So just have that at the back of your mind as we proceed now to focus on today's lesson. Let's dive right in and explore a couple of elements and tags we always use to create websites. Over to the code editor. Remember the folder we created that hosts our web page. Okay, let's create a new HTML file. Let's just call it endsars.html. Okay. Alright, that's endsars.html. As usual, the very first thing we do is to issue a declaration. The declaration tag is a constant, so let's key it in. Alright, that's it right there. After which, the HTML root element itself. Okay. Then we very well know that HTML contains two broad elements, which are the head and then the body elements. In fact, let me zoom in so that y'all will see it a bit more clearly. Okay, I think this is clear enough. Now inside the head, we get to key in our title tag. All right, let's call the title coding day 2. All right, and over to the body section. The body section right here is the zone where we get to key in contents that we want to be visible to the person browsing our website. Let me close this tab and zoom in just one step further. All right, we'll be playing with tags that are necessary to lay out to display content on our website. We'll be going first with the hashtag. The H stands for heading. We have 6 categories of the hashtag, which is the H1 to the H6. The prominent or chief hashtag is the H1 tag because it displays content in the boldest of forms that helps to catch user attention, just like a breaking news kind of heading or titling of a website content. So let's key in the H1 tag. Let's title a heading of, or better still, you know what? Let's render all 6 categories of the heading tag. So let's call this heading level 1, H2, heading level 2. You know what? Instead of typing and wasting your time, might I as well copy and paste H3, heading level 3, H4, heading level 4, H5, heading level 5, and H6, heading level 6. These are the 6 H tags, heading tags we have, okay, with content in between them. So we're going to see how this content in the between the tags are rendered on the browser. What difference can you spot? Let's go over to the browser. We now have to go locate this our endsars.html file in that particular folder we saved it into. Yes, our web design project folder. Here it is. So we get to double click to preview it on the browser. What do you see on your screen? Let me zoom in so you see it a bit more clearly. Yeah, this heading level 1, remember, represents the content inside the H1 tag right here. So you see, heading level 1 is the boldest of all content representation. So it gradually scales down to heading level 6. So heading level 6 represents the smallest of them all. So heading level 1, major heading. The others are subheadings, depending on how you want to represent whatever information you're passing across to your user. So that's it about the H1 tag. Quite straightforward and simple, right? Correct. Let's move on to the next. Back to our code editor, let's explore more elements and tags. The next one we're talking about is the P tag. The P stands for paragraphs. As it implies, the P tag helps us to represent content on a website in paragraphs, one paragraph to the other. Let's just take an instance. I don't want to bore you with so much waste of time. So let's say this is a paragraph. All right. You want to display another paragraph, display that content in yet another P tag. Let me just type some gibberish. Okay. Yeah, that's it. The second paragraph. Let's go over to our web browser to see how this looks. Let's refresh our web browser. Good. That is it. This is the first paragraph we keyed in. This is the second paragraph. It's as straightforward as that. You're getting it right? Next, let's talk about the B tag. B for bold. The B tag is used to make text on a web page bold, just for emphasis sake. All right. Okay. You know what? Let's take a few words here and make them bold. So we get to wrap whatever I want to make bold as content in between the opening and closing B tag. All right. So let's put an opening B tag here. Then we'll move the closing B tag to the other side. Let's save. Go over to the browser. Refresh. Let's see. Good. This is the first content we wrote. That's this one right here that says, hey, I'm bold. And the second one right here, these two words were made bold using the B tag. That is why this emphasis on the paragraph is on Socipit Dusimos. That's how the B tag works. Simple. Okay, then the next tag I want us to look into is the I tag. I for italics. Alright. If you want to get text to be italicized, you use the I tag. Also, let's come up to our paragraph right here and select any text we want to be italicized and wrap the I tag around it. Okay, opening I tag and closing I tag right there. Let's go straight up to our browser, no time to waste, and refresh it to see the effect of what we've done. You see right here, hey, I am italicized. Okay, and on the paragraph section, this was the bold text. we had earlier. Now, can you spot the italicized text? Yes, these three words are italicized relative to the rest of the words in the paragraph. Another tag in your HTML toolbox is the U tag, U for underline. The underline tag helps us to underline text or content in the web page. Now let's move also to this paragraph and try to underline a couple of words here. Let's wrap this text in underline tag. All right. X. Let's close the underline this way. I trust you understand what's going on right here. Move over to the browser and refresh. Refresh the browser. You see that? Bold, italicized, and underline. Now let's talk about the break tag. BR for break. The break tag, unlike other tags we'll be talking about, does not have a closing tag because it's a contentless tag. Contentless in the sense that it doesn't get to have content sandwiched within it. Okay, now the break tag, the purpose it serves in websites design and coding is it helps to break lines or of text. For instance, let's just demonstrate real quick. No need to talk too much. I'll get a chunk of text. You see this whole one large chunk of text, a paragraph. We want to break it into two. First of all, let's see how this is rendered on the browser. So you see the difference between bringing the break tag into it before and after. All right. Let's refresh our web page. This is the whole chunk of text without the break tag. Now let's go back to the code editor and break it into three parts. Let's break it first at this point, the next here. So put our break tag right there. There is no need to put any closing break tag. Let's go back to the browser. You see, after the word India, it breaks into a new line before it now starts rendering the next here. Let's go over. Refresh the web page. Before refreshing, you see there is no break. Let's locate the word India. This is the word India right here. So let's refresh the web page. After the word India, the content or the paragraph breaks into a fresh line. That is the purpose the break tag serves. Let's go back to the code editor and further break it one more time. So let's break it at this point. After the word Kapoor, let's put our break tag before the he, BR. That's it. Save. Go back to the browser. Take note of this section, Kapoor and he. You see them split or break into a new line. Refresh the browser. That is it. After Kapoor, the he went to a fresh line. That is a break tag in operation. Next up, let's talk about the horizontal rule tag. Just like the break tag, the horizontal rule is a contentless tag, so it doesn't have a closing tag. What it does is to rule a straight line across the web page. Let's put it into practice now. I'll remove this one temporarily. Now let's put the horizontal rule after the word concludes and before the word of. All right, HR horizontal rule. So, and also let's go up and separate the headings from the paragraph by placing horizontal rule tag between them. Let's see what happens. Let's go over to the browser. There's no horizontal rule anywhere on the page, so watch out. Let's refresh. Good. After the word concludes and before the word of, we placed the horizontal rule tag there. That is what is responsible for this one. And then we also place the horizontal rule tag between the H6 and the paragraph. All right, this is where it's rendered on the web page. Now you're seeing the H arrow tag in action. What we've covered so far today in the better part of 15 minutes is talking about tags that are used to render texts or typography kind of content on a web page. I am going to pause right here and have you yourself take an exercise to practice how to implement these tags by yourself so that you can get the hang of it. Then we can proceed afterwards. Finally, before you take your own coding exercise, let me just run up a little bit of a sample content for a web page. So I'll be deleting all we've done today, everything within the body tag. All right. So the body tag is the body section or zone of the HTML page is empty now. I'll go over to and refresh our website. You see it's now totally empty. Okay, now I'm going back. Let me just present a heading: news around, let's call it news around the world. Okay, you can save, go and refresh. You see it right there. Good. Now under the h1 tag, I'll place a p tag and just put some kind of dummy content. All right, some kind of content I got from wherever I prepared it from. So that's it. You can save and go back to our web page and refresh. That is it. So you can repeat this. Let's assume you want to put a horizontal row, or let's repeat content. This time around, let's say we're using a h2 to run a subheading. Looking at the activities from, okay, you save, go and refresh. You see that's a subheading. It's not as bold as the h1. Then another set of dummy contents, let's just say lorem 100. Okay, go back and refresh our web page. That's it. Good. So let's assume you want to put a horizontal row between these two paragraphs. We'll just go over here. After the first paragraph, you can just introduce your H arrow tag, which is horizontal row. You save, you go back to your web page and refresh. That's it right there. It's as simple as that. You can also go ahead to bold some portions of the paragraph you want to be emphasized. You can underline some text, you can italicize some text. Just do whatever you like to present your web page content in an appealing way to your audience browsing your website. Okay, over to you, code ninjas. It's your turn to code. Ready, set, code.